Now for Duff Company, we have two parts that we need to compute, and the third one is for discussion. So let's read this first. It says Duff Company manufactures three products X, Y, and Z. Demand for products X and Y is relatively elastic, whilst demand for product Z is relatively inelastic. Each product uses the same materials and the same type of direct labor but in different quantities. For many years, the company has been using full absorption costing and absorbed overheads on the basis of direct labor hours. So they have mentioned it to you in clear words. Selling prices are then determined using cost plus pricing. This is common within this industry, with most competitors applying a standard markup. Markup means profit on cost, profit percentage on cost. Budgeted production and sales volume for X, Y, and Z for the next year are 20,000 units, 16,000 units, and 22,000 units, respectively. For X, Y, and Z, basically, they're mentioning each of them. So, the budgeted direct costs of the three products are shown below. Direct material is 25 for X, 30 for 30 is your direct labor cost for X. But out of this, $12 is per hour. So 30 divided by 12 would give you the number of hours that are being consumed on 1 unit of X. Then 28 and 36 for Y, 22 and 24 for Z. In the next year, Duff Company also expects to incur indirect production costs of 1,377,400, which are analyzed as follows. So they have divided it into cost pools costs as well, and they have added the totals as well. Cost drivers are given number of batches, number of purchase orders, number of machine hours, and then for the last one as well, number of machine hours. They have given you the batch size in units 500, 800, 400. Number of purchase orders per batch are given 4, 5, 4, and machine hours per unit are given 2, 1, and 1. Now they've mentioned Duff Company wants to boost sales revenue in order to increase profits, but its capacity to do this is limited because of its use of cost plus pricing and the application of the standard markup. The finance director has suggested using activity-based costing instead of full absorption costing, since this will alter the cost of the products and may therefore enable a different price to be charged. So the requirement is to calculate the budgeted full production cost per unit of each product using Duff Company's current method of absorption, and then you do the same for ABC as well. Okay, so let's start working on it. Part A needs to be done first. So you know that we have X, Y, and Z, material, labor, and overheads. Let me zoom it in a bit so that it becomes clearer to you. Now for materials, you already have the per unit, so simply multiply 25 by 20,000, 28 by 20,000, and then 22 by 20. My bad, we do not have the same units for all of them. This is going to be 16,000, and then 22 by 22,000 only. Now you have the labor. So for labor, I told you that you need to compute the hours per unit, but right now you do not need that. They've already mentioned the per unit cost of labor, right? So simply multiply that by the number of units. So 30 into 20,000. Then comes 36 into 16,000, and then comes 24 into 22,000. So far all of this is clear, I believe. Now we have overheads. So for overheads, they have mentioned that we use absorption costing, and while we were using absorption costing, we were absorbing the overheads based on direct labor hours. So overheads, total overheads, 1,377,400, total labor hours. This is going to be computed. How? So for, let's say, X, Y, and Z, 30 divided by 12. So this will give you 2.5 hours, right? Now since you have the hours per unit, simply multiply that by the number of units. Do the same for Y, 36 divided by 12 into 16,000. Then 24 divided by 12 into 22,000. This will give you the hours for each of the products. Add them together, 142, and then divide OAR, divide the total overheads by the total labor hours, and you'll get 9.7 per direct labor hour. So now you have computed the OAR, $9.7 per direct labor hour. So simply all we need to do is multiply 9.7 into 50 into 48 and then into 44. Total cost, sum it up, format it, but they want you to compute the cost per unit as well. So the number of units were 20,000, 16,000 and 22,000. Cost per unit was 79.25, 93.1 and 65.4. Again, these are going to be in dollars. So this is the answer to our part A. Let's compute the answer to our part B. But first let's copy this bit. If you don't want to copy it, you can also select the cells and simply just put is equals to and then select the cell, is equals to and then select the cell. You'll get the same answers copied down. Now for overheads, we have machine setup cost, material ordering cost, machine running cost, general facility cost. Okay, so we need to use the same for computation of OAR as well. So let's copy it down. 280,000, 316,000, 420,000, and 361,400. Once you have that, you need to compute the cost drivers as well, right? Cost drivers for some of them are already given. No need to compute that. But for some of them, you still need to do some working. So it says that the cost of machine setup cost is based on number of batches, right? And you have been given batch size in units. You're not given the batches, okay? So you need to compute the number of batches, and I'll show you how. Machine setup cost, material ordering cost, machine running cost, general facility cost. Okay, so we need to use the same for computation of OAR as well. So let's copy it down. 280,000, 316,000, 420,000, and 361,400. Once you have that, you need to compute the cost drivers as well, right? Cost drivers for some of them are already given. No need to compute that. But for some of them, you still need to do some working. So it says that the cost of machine setup cost is based on number of batches, right? And you have been given batch size in units. You're not given the batches, okay? So you need to compute the number of batches, and I'll show you how. Now for number of batches, you do realize that for X, for Y, and for Z, you have been given the number of units. Yes. So this shouldn't be in dollars. It's automatically updating in dollars. So let's change that. Now since you have the number of units 20, 16, and 22, and you have the batch size in units, this is 500, 800, and 400. Yes, so you can easily compute the number of batches by dividing units by batch size in units. So total becomes 115. Okay, now everything else is already given to you. Number of purchase orders are given 454. Number of machine hours are already given to you. Machine hours per unit are given. Simply need to multiply that by the amount of units and you'll get the total machine hours, right? So I hope this is clear. I hope this does not bring any confusion so far. So let's first compute the machine setup cost OAR. Next we have material ordering cost. Now this is number of purchase orders per batch. So you need to compute the total number of batches. Number of purchase order per batch. That was 4, 5 and 4. So total number of batches. Sorry, total number of purchase orders. Simply multiply number of batches by what is the total? Sum this up. 480. So 316 divided by 480. Then we have machine running cost. So for machine running cost, 420,000 divided by number of machine hours. Now since we do not have number of machine hours right now, let's quickly compute it. So machine hours per unit, total machine hours. How will you compute it? Machine hours per unit were given to you 2, 1 and 1. Simply multiply that by the number of units. Do the same for others. Okay, compute the sum. So, and then divide it by the sum. Then we have general facility cost. Again, based on number of machine hours. So do not forget to mention the basis. I hope all of this is clear. We've done the working, we've done the difficult part now. Simply just start putting up the numbers now. So it was per number of batches for machine setup. What were the number of batches? 40, 20 and 55, right? I hope this makes sense. Then for material ordering cost, it was per number of purchase orders, which means that per number of purchase orders per batch, right? So 4, 5 and 4. Actually, just 1 minute. This is number of purchase order per batch, right? So total number of purchase orders, right? We wouldn't multiply this by number of purchase orders per batch. Rather, we would multiply this by total number of purchase orders. Okay, I hope this makes sense. The only reason why we did not multiply that by number of purchase orders per batch was because that was kind of like per unit, right? But we want the total for 20,000 units or for 16,000 units or for 22,000 units, which is why we are doing the multiplication with total number of purchase orders. Now for machine running cost. So total machine hours. Do the same for general facility. I hope this is clear. Next we have to compute cost per unit. Could have copied it from above as well. Just a quick minute, let me check the answers once. Everything is correct. Let's just quickly format our answers. And now we're done with Duff Company. There's one last question that is Beckley Hill that I want you guys to try, and that once performed I'll share the answers with you guys so that you can take a look at it. Okay, if you still have any confusion in this question or in the Gadget Company question, please feel free to ask. Thank you.